what's your me? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who this is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. The podcast Rolling Stone Magazine says initiatives profound discussions with rock and metal artists, allowing fans to discover the creative workflow of their favorite musicians and understand the factors that make the band succeed or fall from fame. We are also sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom computing needs. You can get $100 off your entire build using the code CPPOD at darkfusionsystems.com. Links in the description of the podcast below. Let's go to our feature presentation. We're going over to Finland with this one as we have Leevi from the band One Morning Left in the podcast today. The brand new album Neon Inferno came out on October 25th. And my God, is this album incredible. We dive deep into how the band mixes so many different ideas from synthwave, electronica, 80s, hair metal, metalcore, hardcore into their songs. We also talk about how their cover of Beat It by Michael Jackson really helped them connect with a lot of fans, along with diving into Neon Inferno and specifically what might be the best song on the record, one of my favorite songs of the year, Tokyo Love. There's a crazy story behind the inspiration of it. You're going to want to check it out as we go into it in full. You guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. We bring on all different types of music from the rock and metal spectrum on here. Sometimes they get super serious, sometimes they're over the top insane, and sometimes they're just a hell of a lot of fun. And when you're going to have a band that involves electronic, synthwave, hardcore, metalcore, hair metal, Prince, all into one album, I have no idea how can you not enjoy this and not get fully into it. I've been listening to this album, preparing for this nonstop because it is that much fun to listen to. So the band's brand new album called The Neon Inferno coming out on October 25th, 2024. You're going to want to check it out, but let's get to know the band. Let's get to know the guys even more. So with us today, we have Leevi from the band One Morning Left on the podcast. So Leevi, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Dude, it is a fantastic time. Fantastic pleasure to have you here, dude. How is everything going? Because we're recording this literally week of release. So how is everything going in your world at the moment?
Right. Well, we've been planning a lot on upcoming tours and, doing like live production practices and stuff like that. We've been planning out some playthroughs of the new album, like Neon Inferno on guitar and bass, and maybe some one shots on vocals. And yeah, it's looking pretty cool. The pre-sales are looking good on the album. The pre-sales are looking good on the upcoming European tour. We're heading like next week on the 25th. Yeah, and we got some huge fucking plans for the next year. So definitely now is the time to get to know One Morning Left, all in its colorfulness and all its in its craziness, and you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out because we're coming on a storm, on a neon, this rainbow storm.
a Neon Inferno rainbow storm of absolute manicus that's coming your way. So, and because now you're talking about, preparing already for this upcoming European tour to release the album, get everyone to know about it, but then preparing for stuff in 2025. I got to ask this, especially coming from the U.S. where I live. Does that mean you guys are coming over to the U.S. in 2025?
I cannot say at the moment because of legal and contracts, and you have to be hush hush all about this stuff. But this I can say, we've been planning for Canada next year. So if you're up for a flight, you like airplanes, you like Canada, at least that. So hop on a plane and come see us.
Well, I've never actually been to Canada, but I am close enough to Canada where I could justifiably make a drive from where I live about maybe 9 hours to Toronto. And if you guys are going to play over there, I might be able to give it a shot. Plus, hey, why not actually go to Toronto, actually see Canada, and actually experience that for the first time? And what better way to do that than by playing it all around, going to see One Morning Left? Like, that sounds like a fun time, right?
Right, and yeah, we're super excited. We've never been to North America before, and we're really getting some heat from there. And I think we don't want to miss out on the momentum because now's the time. I think so. Yeah, but I can't say for sure. The USA at the moment, I can't put out too much information and make some suit unhappy
Yeah, we don't need some lawsuit to come down you guys for you saying one thing and it just not happening. I mean, you can tease it like, maybe it's going to happen. Maybe it's not. I hope it does happen. But if I have to drive to Canada to go to see a show, I'm going to end up pulling that off because after listening to Neon Inferno, I'm just sitting here with my head in my hands wondering, how in the hell are there so many different genres and so many different ideas funneling through all of these songs, but they all stand out in an incredible way? And even I sent my buddy this and I'm like, okay, I want to send you a single to check out or a song that's already out to check out so that you kind of get a taste of it. I'm like, I got to send the cover of Beat It by Michael Jackson his way because that one I listened to and I'm like, it's really tough to get it's easy. It's a lot of people cover Michael Jackson because it's very consistent. You're very able to pick up on everything that Michael Jackson picked up on, but you guys putting your own spin on it, everything amplified it to your style to a completely different degree, but it's still all completely flowed perfectly within what Beat It was. Not only using the 80s synth and using all those different 80s video game notes in there, the unclean vocals, the rappiness of it, but also using a very similar signature to the Eddie Van Halen guitar signature that is on that riff. It flows so well together where I'm like, I'm addicted to this. When I first listened to it, I was laying on the floor with my girlfriend on the couch. I just clicked it on and she's like, that sounds pretty good. And I just looked over, I'm like, pretty good? This is awesome.
Thanks, man. I mean, I grew up on the on the old school metalcore scene back in 2010 when I was a teenager, and it was a huge thing back then, like the pop goes punk stuff. The people doing metalcore or hardcore versions of pop songs, and I've always wanted to do that. And one day I just sat down on my laptop and started crippling what to do with it. And from the start point, I wanted to be give honor to Michael Jackson, but to make it sound like One Morning Left without being too disrespectful. And I really think that we pulled it off in a good way. I'm really proud of that cover song because it's really hard to not do it too much or too less. It sounds too much like the original. It sounds too much like you guys. With this song, I think we found a golden midway to do it, and we've been playing it on every show for the last year and a half, 2 years, and people always lose their fucking minds, even though if they're listened to us before or they are new listeners, and they always this is so fucking good, and they always it's. I'm just proud of that, and I'm so glad to hear that you guys over there you resonate with it, and you just said all the things that I wanted it to be inside the listener's head, like the Eddie Van Halen stuff and all that, like those huge things that were huge to me when I was a kid, and wanted me to pick up a guitar in the first place. And this song is one of them. I remember being somewhere around 7 years old or so, first time listening to this, and I was like, okay, this is poppy. I've heard Michael Jackson's Bad or Thriller before that, and I was like, this is a rock song. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, this is one of the best songs ever. I still think that the original is better, obviously, because Michael Jackson is the king of pop, and there's Eddie Van Halen's iconic guitar solo, and there's Steve Lukather doing he was a session musician on the original thing, and there's these legends, and I just wish that those people that are still alive and around could hear it. I don't care if they don't like it or they're like, oh, this is too much, or I just want them to that would be awesome for them to listen through and be like, hey, that's kind of cool that you did this and this and that. I don't know, maybe one day.
Maybe one day, but I mean, when it comes to the whole song as to why people are liking it, and not only that, but when people go and see you for the first time and have no idea what to expect, and you pull out that song, everyone knows Michael Jackson, everyone knows Beat It, and every rock fan's going to know that Eddie Van Halen guitar sound signature and the soul that's put in there. So this is where it all comes together, especially from my mind, why it's such a great cover. When you focus as the core on, especially from a band that has that heavier rock, metalcore, sometimes hardcore influence, you want to focus in on that riff to really drive it home. So you do have a little bit of a heavier style to the riff, but the sound signature is almost identical. So people that are used to the original can easily pick up on that and know you're not trying to copy it, but you're not trying to change it so much that it's completely different. Then you have the backing of the rest of the instrumentals behind it, especially the drums consistently keeping up that faster pace. And then in the chorus, having the massive blast beats there just completely changes it up, but gives it that heavier presence. The vocals, when it's more clean at times, and then the uncleans in the second part of the verses, going into the chorus with the call and response type style, it adds to that heaviness, but the drumming and the guitars and the tone of them really connect with all of it. But of course, you guys have so much electronic and synth put in there as well. But the way you toned it out was very specific to like 80s arcade video game style sounds. So you're absolutely focusing in on sounds that are relevant to the time period that the song was created. So you're evoking those emotions, but you're consistently keeping it within your own realm as well. So you took so many different ideas here and really thought it out to make sure you put out a cover song that is yours, but is absolutely catering so much to the original fans of the song and the original creators. So you listen to it, you can pick up on every instance, but you're going to love it every step of the way. I mean, I'm going to try and play this at my brother's wedding in December. I'm going to try and sneak this in there now because I want to start, everyone's going to know the song, but I want to start a mosh pit there too. Let's be honest.
Right. Okay. I want to be there. I would like video evidence of what's the reaction of that, and we will post it on socials if it's okay with all the people there. But yeah, this warms my heart to hear you say all the exact things that I was thinking about when I was creating this cover song, and you just pointed out every exact detail that I wanted to, people to feel and hear. This is perfect. I want to be your guest every week. Fuck.
Dude, I should bring you on every single week. Just like a recurring episode with one morning left every single week. Like every Wednesday, we're going to do a check-in now because I always do episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, perfect time Wednesday slot. We're just going to bring in Leevi one more time. One morning left. Okay, what's the update? Let's go 15 minutes every single week.
All right, that would be awesome. But yeah, it's like perfect analysis. Is it the way you see the
analysis?
Americans. Yes, analysis of the song. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, and beyond that too, it's like, because that's just a cover, and I think it's a perfect way for people to get introduced to the band. Again, you have the connection to the original song. Everyone knows Michael Jackson, but it has so much of your style in there. So, because that was the first one I actually checked out, because I remember listening. It was actually first, it was one of the remixes, and I thought to myself, I'm waiting for that Eddie Van Halen riff to come in, and then I saw Beat It. I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if this was the cover? And boom, it was. I was like, okay, this is too good. But it's the perfect lead-in for the band. And not only that, but listening through the rest of the album after checking out the cover, everything made so much more sense, not only from the electronic style, but also when you threw in some of those like hair metal patterns or those hair metal influences into these songs. It absolutely hit. And then when I heard some of the heavier stuff too put into the whole entire album, I'm like, oh my God, this is way too much fun to listen to, but it's also heavy and energetic enough to the point where there's going to be metal fans that listen to this and they're going to love this. Similar vein of like why metal fans are loving those like Japanese bands like Hanabiye and BabyMetal, or like how Electric Callboy blew up, because there's so much fun and positivity in the sounds packed into these songs and into this record.
Right. Yeah, because I think when I started creating the cover version of the song Beat It, it like served as this palette of sounds that I would work in the near future with Hyperactive album, our previous album, and Neon Inferno, and just amped it up in a way that there are more synths, there are more backing vocals, like huge stacks of like these choirs of my voice on the choruses. and stuff like that. And you mentioned the positivity energy. It has always been a part of our live show, even though the positivity aspect hasn't been on such a huge play music wise in history. But I wanted to, when I joined the band in at Metalcore Superstars and created the song "You're Dead, Let's Disco." I wanted to like bring the positivity to the music too, because we were like when we always perform, we're smiling, we're chopping around, we're doing backflips and shit, and creating havoc, mayhem, all through anywhere we are. So I wanted to bring that to the music too. And you mentioned like hair metal and 80s metal. That's something that we as a band love so much. Like the old school 80s, the more cheesier the better. And my favorite band is Def Leppard. Like I fucking love the band. It's a religion to me, really. And I just thought like I really haven't heard a band with like 80s influence to it, like metalcore and 80s. And yeah, that's what we're doing at the moment. You will definitely hear that in our new album Neon Inferno if you're a new listener to us. If you've been catching us on Hyperactive, it like carries the same torch but amped up. And you also mentioned the arcade and 80s synth, like this video game aesthetic sound wise. And yeah, we're all like old school retro gaming nerds in a way. And I've been listening to the songs, like I've been playing retro games for all my life, and I just thought I want to bring that to metal and see what people like. How does it, like, if it's something that people don't want to listen to, fine, let's do something else. But people's been loving it. Like everyone been loving it. There's always like these old school metalheads, super serious one that are like there should be no joy in metal. That's cool. That is definitely fine, because there are like 8 billion people on the planet. We're not for you. All right, that's cool. But give it a chance. Even though if you're like into this super like Behemoth, I love Behemoth. I love old school 90s like Dark Throne, Dissection, all these old school like the first wave or the second wave of black metal. But I have nothing to give there. I think it's been done, and it is being done perfectly at the moment. I have nothing to give there. But I think that what we do with One Morning Left is something really unique, something that isn't out there. And there's a huge sales point to it, and I wanna amp it up even more, even crazier, even more provocative. Like, just I want to get a reaction out of people, even if it's like joy or hatred. It's better to be split in twos, like you love us or you hate us. I think that's way better, because if everyone is just like, yeah, it's cool, it's been done before, like I don't want to do that. I want to do something that people will instantly recognize, that when you put our song on or hear the first parts of our vocals or something like that, people will be like, hey, this is One Morning Left. That's my goal.
Yeah, now when I listen to the album, I'm like, oh, it's easy. One Morning Left. You put on another song of yours, like from either Metalcore Superstars or from Hyperactive, I'll be like, this is easily One Morning Left. There's no doubt about it. And when you brought up the fact that, mixing that metalcore style because that's what you're into, but also with the 80s, and you have your Def Leppard shirt on, saying it's your favorite band, which also makes me happy because I'm like, I've got my favorite band shirt on too with Rise Against, so we're both kind of matching in that perspective. Woohoo! But when it comes to the whole overall 80s perspective, what I kind of see happen over the course of music history was it was such a prevalent thing, especially in that time, and it's so locked into that decade, especially the styles of it, everything around there, where once you got in the 90s and grunge took over and everything got more dark and more serious, then there really wasn't that kind of a fun or just kind of an energy that really came back in that similar 80s style. We've seen certain bands pop up here and there that have had a piece of it in there that have maybe gotten a little popular, but never to an extent of really mixing metalcore in there or mixing so much of the heavier side in there as well. So what you guys essentially are doing is by taking your influences from that, it ends up creating something that is a lot more unique. I also think about this in this other capacity. I talked about my brother's wedding. You go to a wedding in any capacity right now and you play music from the 80s. Not only are people that are older that lived through the 80s, that were young adults in the 80s, are they getting into it, but everyone that's younger is out there dancing, getting into it because it does evoke that positivity. It does move you. And when you mix it with electronic, when you mix it with synthwave, you mix it with metalcore, hardcore, and you put all that together, you still have that positive flow. You still have that absolute energetic flow that so many people can get into. It has that welcoming nature to it, but you add so much more to it now, to the point where I could have shown this to my dad and my mom, and they'd be like, maybe not big on how heavy it goes or how fast it goes, but they would love the flow of it and the enjoyment of it. I can show it to younger people than me, and they're gonna love the energy behind it. I can show it to metalheads, and they're gonna love some of the heaviness of it. I can show people like myself, we're gonna be like, this is all so cool. Like, why have we not listened to this before this day? But hey, the best time to listen to this would have been a lot earlier. The second best time to listen to this is right now.
All right, because I mean, you're at the heart of it, because 80s as a music decade, I think it's the best. It's the best if you're looking for energy, if you're looking for positivity, if you're looking for empowerment and all that good times. It's the 80s. I mean, there's a soft spot for me for 90s grunge, and as we mentioned before, like darker stuff like early 90s Norwegian black metal or stuff like that. But the world is a dark place at the moment, and I think like most of us need some energy, positivity, unity, and stuff like that. And we're messengers of positivity and energy and good times and partying. And I mean, if you said you listened to the Neon Inferno album, and there are songs that lyric wise are about more serious stuff, but it's still around the soundscape of 80s and modern metalcore. I mean, you obviously know the series Stranger Thing, and there was like after the last season there was like trending songs like Master of Puppets and stuff like that. Kate Bush's the Running Up That Hill. Yeah, Running Up That Hill is a perfect example because the lyrics are so sad, but the soundscape around it's so danceable. It's so, it gives you energy. It's like, if you don't like concentrate on the lyrics, it will give you like all that. But if you need the empowerment in like the energy and lyrics to feel that you're in the same situation or stuff like that, you can do it. And that's a whole another art form. I think the Running Up That Hill is a perfect pop song, up there with like Michael Jackson's biggest hits and stuff like that. But yeah, this all sounds so huge, like, but I mean, 80s was like it was this like theatrical decade of music, and it's so inspiring. Like I don't know if I will ever or we will ever like get there with the like the super names or whatever, but the amount of feedback and amount of stories that people been telling us, like you said, like the older dudes or the younger dudes, like I think our fan base is somewhere between 15 and 50 and like, yeah, it's just unites people, and that makes it able to share ideas, like on the, not on the band aspect, but the fans themselves can create like more. It's almost positivity around this
Yeah.
project and this band and this album. It's at times on shows on tour, it's overwhelming. Like people coming crying to you, like you fucking saved my life, or
Yeah.
you know, there's a like
Mm.
extreme example, but then there are people I've been listening to you guys for years, and no one gives me this energy with uh Lorna Shore shirt on. Like
Yeah.
it's like I think we're most people's like guilty pleasure band in a way, but yeah, it's so cool to see like these like like these serious metalheads with like camo pants and you know this
Yep.
death metal shirts on, and they're like, I fucking love your band. So I'm like, oh, all right, okay.
It's like, all
I
right.
didn't expect that, but yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, let's just roll with it and let's just love with it. Just because you can take those lighters, you take those more energetic sounds, more positive sounds, and have lyrics that have a darker, more serious message to it. Because
Yeah,
around so many different things with metal now, it's you have the heavier and the darker songs, and the messages come from darker overall places as well. So everyone's kind of funneled into that. But when you have such more of an energetic, even positive spin on it, people can relate to the heaviness of those topics and really dive deep further into them. But the positiveness of it is something that allows them to potentially even see a lighter side of it, or see that, things are not so good, but things can get better. And when you're talking
exactly.
about, yeah, and when you're talking about, your range of 15 to 50 of terms of fans, but also you get some of the older people that come through and be like, or some of the people like, I only like heavy stuff, but you're my guilty pleasure band. I think a huge reason for that is just because there's so much positivity that's coming through here, but it's a different type of positivity where, like, I literally, when we're shooting this, I saw my favorite band Rise Against 2 days ago. And,
Right.
Seeing them, especially live, and I'm in the pit, it's a different type of positivity that I'm getting in there. I go see a band like We Came as Romans, or go see Bring Me the Horizon, or go see Beartooth, and it's a type of positivity. But when I listen to your guys' music, I kind of lump, and especially if I get to see you live, I kind of lump it into this like idea of when I see Electric Callboy play, or when I've seen BabyMetal play, because there is so much of this different like upbeat positivity to it, where it kind of creates this blissful joy in your mind just because of how much fun you're having with these songs, how much energy is flowing through there. And you cannot help but be in the pit and absolutely smile every time you're in there. It's this infectious positivity that washes over everybody when you not only get to see these bands live, but just when you listen to these tracks and you put them on. Because I could put on a song like Summer Lovin' that you guys have out there, and I could have shown it to my parents, and they'd be like, this is, this gives me those feelings of like going back to the 80s, listening to Prince, having a good time with that. Or then I go to literally 2 songs later with Tokyo Love, and it's like, where does this come from? And I'm loving every single minute of it and all the manicness that's behind it and the positivity, the rapidness. I'm like, this is too crazy. Or you go to any of these other songs. I could literally go through my notes section here. I've got like 11 pages on it. And what surprised me was, using even Beat It as well, every single song has a unique feel to the overall synth and the electronics that you put in there. So it's a type of positivity, but it always evokes a completely different emotion or response or connection, which absolutely threw me away and blew me away. I'm like, how are they able to do this? How are they able to take so many different sounds from a very, like, a similar era, but every single song evokes a completely different emotion from those electronic productions? I couldn't believe it, man. It was astounding, to put it lightly.
All right, I'm so glad to hear it, and I agree with you, because I really think that we did it. We were able to create a album with each song being an individual. Uh, the reason for it comes from Hyperactive, our previous album. In there, we were like brainstorming about the idea of creating this fictional world of retro skiffy sci-fi stuff, that there's like planets and there's like groups and there's like one person that we sing about, and you know, it sings about our feelings about something, but it's this character in this universe and stuff like that. And creating Neon Inferno, some of the songs are actually named after the characters that we're singing about. And some of the songs have like these links to the Hyperactive album. Like, for instance, Neon Highway takes place in the same universe as Tonight from the Neon Inferno, and they're both like this "You're Madly in Love" kind of songs. They both have the song with the dragon in it, like Ruby Dragon or Emerald Dragon, and they're both symbols for something greater, being a better version of yourself, and you know, spreading out positivity once again. And you know, it's like we look at it in this way, that we want to create a collection of stories, individual stories that are some way or another linked to each other, to create this, like, well, an album. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of thought to it. It didn't come like on the snap of the fingers or anything like that. There was definitely thought on it.
Oh, I'm glad there was a lot of thought into it too, because not only are you creating the connection between the different songs and the albums, but you're creating something where people can, if you just listen to it for the first time, you can find the positivity in the sound. You can absolutely connect with it, but you're opening up the ability to go so much deeper into the music, into the idea, into the songs, to where that's where so many bands can really succeed if they're able to do that. Because if you love a band and you're absolutely fully into them, you're going to want to go deeper in the lyrics. You're going to want to go deeper in the connection, and you're absolutely offering that. But there are some people that are like, I just like the sound. I really don't want to go that deep. You guys, you can put on a song from One Morning Left, and you're going to absolutely just be like, I'm enjoying this. I'm loving this. It's a great thing. And when you brought up Tonight too, kind of bringing up a feel of like, you know, you're kind of talking about something that you're in love with. I'm listening to that song originally, right when you put it, like right when it starts, and my first thought of is like, I'm thinking it has that like futuristic kind of like video game style to it in the electronic kind of production of it. But the lighter feels like you're like an electronic, energetic nightclub, like 1980s Miami neon. And I'm just like, how is this all working together? But then you go through the rest of the songs, and it's like I said earlier, every single bit of electronic piece evokes a completely different emotion. Like Emerald Dragon, I start listening to the electronic synthwave in there. I'm like, this starts making me feel like it's like I'm going like the Flash Gordon movie, and I'm ready to go like with this dragon on to do something. I don't know what it is. I got to keep going on these because these are even funner to go through. Like 3, 2, 1, go. I start hearing you open up with this like Avatar style vocals. I'm talking Avatar, the band from, I believe, from Sweden. And then it goes in this like 8-bit high-pitched gaming sound, like you're either playing F-Zero or Sonic. So you get that rapid pace, and you're like, where is this coming from? I literally have no idea, but I'm having too much fun with this. Summer Lovin', 80s synth, John Hughes type movie mixed with Prince. I'm like, this is too cool. Where can you go with from here? Let's keep going. Michael the Knight. It's like aggressive Amity Affliction mixed with some of that John Hughes 80s movie synth that you hear in that soundtrack. And you're just like, this is nuts. There's no way you can top any of this. Like, you've got 9 songs at this point. Then you get to Tokyo Love, and it's like aggressive, fast-paced metal meets hair metal, 80s metal with aggressive J-pop, hyper-pop put in there. And I'm just like, I listen to Tokyo Love. I gotta say, that's my favorite song on the record, because I listen, I'm just like,
mine too. Yeah.
How does all this come together? Everything is put together so well. I have to champion the song as one of my favorite songs of the year. Tokyo Love. My God, how did you do this?
Tokyo Love is that's actually, I think, I need to collect my thoughts on this. There were so many good points there that I want to grab each one. But Tokyo Love, the majority of times I create songs, or most people create songs. They start out with something like crippling around on the DAW, and finding out sounds and stuff like. But way back when we were starting out, I was like 13, 14 years old, hanging around on the rehearsal place with my little brother who played drums. And I just started to like improvise a riff and see where it goes from there. We were just improvising like songs, and I'm just kind of everything is so remote now. Like we create songs, like bands create songs on different continents, like sending out just files via internet. But I just grabbed the guitar and wanted to like simulate that old school rehearsal place feel and see where it goes from there. And the the main riff of the song, the da 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 and it was just like I was just rippling around. I was all right. I got something here, and just hit record, and it was just this um intuition that I jumped into, and just pieces started to fall to its place, and everything just all the stars were aligned, I guess, like, or something like that, and it just everything just matched. And I was like, yeah, this needs some saxophone, and this needs some more heaviness. This needs a huge breakdown to it in the middle, and I wanted to have some opera elements, like the way the chorus is end. It's like this. I want to build it up, and it goes back to the riff with more stuff on it, and it's just like hyperactive state I was in creating the song. Yeah, it was so fun to do.
Oh, you can tell that the fun just comes fully out of it, because right when it starts, you can just feel the pace. You can feel that absolute energy that's in there. You have the Japanese female opening sample with her vocals, and it adds to the connection of it. But what really got me was there's so many pieces that got me on this song. You get to the verses, and the only thing I can think of at this point is like, this is what like an 80s metal, like Steel Panther type overall like progression, especially vocally, would sound on here. But it's sounding like it's going so well because the energy and the pacing and the like overall pattern mixes so well with that Japanese hyperpop sensibility and pacing, where you're finding this new kind of heaviness, and it matches that energy. But then you keep going into the chorus, and it absolutely explodes too, where you're keeping that progression, you're keeping that same pattern. You're not necessarily diving too far away from it, but you're allowing that heaviness to still flow through with how rapid the backing is on the drums specifically. You're just blasting right through it, and it still fits. And I'm still waiting at some point throughout this song when I'm listening, I'm like, after chorus 2, I'm hoping that some point in time, there is going to be something that just goes heavy, that just absolutely throws me back, and you get a heavier J-pop sound towards a breakdown, but it gets deeper and deeper. Some nasty uncleans, guitars wildly moving all over the place to keep that energy going and still keep the connection with the overall programming that's on there that the chorus had. And so when you go back to the chorus right afterwards, the transition makes so much sense to this song having so many different parts, being so wild. But it flows so perfectly through itself to where when I said it's my favorite on the record, and easily one of my favorite songs of the year, I absolutely meant it from the first moment I heard this. I'm like, even if I have a description, I'm like, this is like, you guys saved the best for last in terms of original songs. Like, last song of the originals that isn't Beat It, that isn't one of the remixes, absolutely stands out as you went through this whole album and you enjoyed it. You get a treat going through the entire thing by getting the best song, in my opinion, last, and then you're gonna be at the end of it like, God damn it, I gotta go see One Morning Left play live. Now I gotta go see this song play live. I gotta get into it. But then you forget you have 3 more songs left, 2 remixes, and you listen to Beat It again. You're like, my God, this keeps getting better and better. This is just incredible, man. I'm losing my mind here. I usually don't go all like, fanboy freak out on this stuff, but this song was too good not to do it.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Because you mentioned like it flows so well throughout the whole song, even though it has like these crazy parts and differences between parts, but it was created in a hyperactive flow state. So I think it really, you can hear it like it was like a sitting down once, and it's just everything just came to be. And yeah, you mentioned the Japanese speaking part at the beginning. It's actually the lyrics from the chorus, but in Japanese. We were playing in Japan back in like 2017. We played two sold out headliner shows there in Tokyo, and our record label had like uh I don't know I don't know how to say it in English. Uh, translator. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They had a translator for us because the English capabilities in there are limited. So yeah, and we stayed in touch all through these years. And just one day, I was like, I wrote and did the chorus for Tokyo Love, and I was like, we don't have any Japanese on the album yet, and I want to do it. So I just sent the translator the lyrics, and the translator sent it back and gave me a couple of options to choose from, because there's like, you can speak Japanese in many ways. There are many ways to say the same thing, and I just took the shortest one because that's the party. So it's not lengthy, it's short. So I chose the shortest one, and yeah, that's how it came to be.
That is, I was not expecting that to be the case, but you couldn't have done it any better, because not only does it still keep a connection with the band and with the things that you've done in the past, with the people you've interacted with in the past, but to lead us into the song and prepare us for that like hyperpop sensibility, having that spoken like piece in there and having it be connected to the whole entire chorus too, by having the chorus in Japanese be that spoken piece. It brings us right into the mindset of the song already from the forefront. We don't have to even try and get ready for it. You're just immediately put into it from that spot. And that's what makes the song even better too, because you don't have to think about it. It's just instinctual to get there.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you, because that's the reason I wanted to put it there. And you know, the whole song is about that trip to Tokyo, doing the two headliner shows, and you know, just like the title says, Tokyo Love, and we loved it, and it was just this otherworldly, movie-like experience of being this total fucking rock star in Tokyo, like everything you've been dreaming of. And the story goes like this: I wrote the song "You're Dead, Let's Disco," and it has this like recorder or flute part in it, this breakdown, this funny thing. And we had no idea that it was blowing up in Tokyo at the moment. And just one day, yeah, we had no idea, because we were struggling to get shows, we were struggling with money and all that, and you know, the band is not going anywhere. What do we need to do? Kind of stuff back in 2016, 17, something like that. And one day, our record labels, like Japanese part of the label, sent us a video of a nightclub. And there is this nightclub with like about 1,000 people on it. And the Your Dead Let's Disco music video is on the screen and the song is playing. And when the breakdown hits, people just grab out like recorders or flutes and play it with them. In Tokyo, 1,000 people. And we were like all sitting down and watching the video like what the fuck is happening? what the hell is happening? We had no idea. And the record label was like, do you want to come to Tokyo and play shows? And we were like, fuck yeah, we want to do it. And they like get us on the plane, and we played there. And when we played the two shows, and and we finished with Your Dead Let's Disco, because obviously it was the biggest song there. And you know, this like all the people there had brought their like recorders of flutes with them, and they just jumped on stage and started like moshing and stage diving with the flutes, and like these small Japanese girls to these like big muscular Japanese dudes, and it was just fucking crazy. It felt like I was in a movie. and after the flight back home, I just went straight to doing my dishes and, you know, walking my dog and stuff like that. Like the contrast between the days were so crazy, and I was just sitting down. This had to be the best experience of my life to be for years, because and people just asked us like, how was the trip? And I was like, I honestly can't tell you, because I can try, but there are no way to fucking explain this or put this in words. But yeah, all of that, and I just wanted to like, how do I honor that experience and my love for Tokyo and Japanese culture and stuff like that without being disrespectful or tacky, and just keeping it cool, and just wanted to sing about that experience, because the lyrics are just about that. Yeah.
I've been doing this for almost 6 years now. I've heard some of the most insane stories from bands ever. That might be a top 5 story of all time. Just people in a club breaking out recorders during the breakdown, and then having that. If you guys go over there while you're, maybe struggling for money, it's like, hey, do you guys want to go over there? Yes. You go over there, play a show, and then the people jump up on stage during the song with recorders.
It's so crazy.
Nuts. Now, when you guys come and play around here, if you guys are gonna play your Dead Let's Disco, I gotta bring the recorder out too and just start playing it in the middle of the pit, maybe hitting people at the same time too, and see what happens. At the end of it, if a recorder comes flying and it's like coming towards you, I didn't throw it, someone took it from me. It was like, you're playing it terribly, and threw it up at you, so I hope you're looking and be able to catch it. I don't need it back. You can keep it.
But yeah, there's some crazy experiences that I like why do a song about like 2 shows? Like there has been hundreds, maybe 1,000 shows that we've done, but that was something. That was definitely something. And it's what we love. We love to unite people, spread positivity and colorfulness, and not taking life so seriously for a moment at least. And I think that was the prime example of just, we had no idea it was blowing up there, and just one day we got a video to our email and was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but even those times where you don't know what's going on, or you don't think anything's going to happen, and it just takes off somewhere, you ride that wave of positivity like you do in your music. You just ride that wave, see where it goes, and see what happens. And you end up not only getting a moment that you're able to create a song off of, that in my opinion, again, is the best song on the record, but you end up having an experience that you're never going to forget for the rest of your life. And it's something that, you may have written a song about just 2 shows in Japan and that's it. But it's those moments of inspiration that really hit and really create the greatest songs, because they evoke the most powerful of emotions and the most impactful emotions within you. And when you go back and return home and you're thinking about them, the reverberations of those emotions are the most amplified. So it's like, you hear people talk about, the day they got married, the day they have kids, or like the day their kids are born. And they remember those moments and the positivity that came from there, because they have such a long lasting impact and they were so powerful that they reverberate throughout time. Otherwise, there's other people that maybe you haven't gone through that yet, or you have other experiences like yourself, like me, like my craziest 40 hours ever when I was in Amsterdam. Like, it just happens, and we remember those times and just how much positivity happened from them, how much we enjoyed it. So we end up connecting and creating things around it because we want to capture that emotion. And especially someone like yourself, when you write a song like this, you're absolutely able to amplify that, capture that, and present it to us to where we can listen to it, not only enjoy the song so heavily in terms of the sound, the flow, the positivity that's coming from it, but then we know the story behind it. Now we can connect with it even deeper and think about like the most enjoyable or the most positive impacting moments of our lives, relate to it in the song, and now it becomes even more of a powerful entity to our lives than it was before.
Right. You're absolutely right. And that's like the main reason I wanted to finish the record, like put it last on the record, because kind of summarizes what we want to send out to. Because Emerald Dragon as a starting song is like I wanted to catch this feel of watching like Stranger Things on Netflix. It's like an opening song for a series of sci-fi action, crazy hair metal stuff, and you jump into the world. That's why the intro of the song is a bit longer, and you get to the mood, and you go through all the emotional roller coasters and energy and stuff, and it just finishes with Tokyo Love perfectly. And yeah.
Maybe we can pitch to people in Marvel, and for the next Deadpool movie, make sure they put Tokyo Love in there at some point, because that song seems like it would definitely fit for that kind of a movie.
All right, yeah, that would be awesome. I've been kind of hoping that like a series or a movie like catches up on us, and we're like, hey, you make some cool stuff, and we want to use your music on this. But yeah, Deadpool would be fucking perfect.
So now we have to make our pitch literally on this podcast. I'm making my pitch to not only all these movies, but I'm also to a rising empire as well. You guys start pushing out Tokyo Love to all these other places and see who else is going to pick up on it to put it in their series, in their movie, because it has a place. Trust me, it has a place in there. And when I find out that happens and it's in a movie, I'm going to see that movie. I don't care what movie it is. I don't care if I'm going to like it or not. I'm just going to be waiting for that one part where all of a sudden I just start hearing Tokyo Love at the end of the movie. Everyone's going to be like, oh, what was you think of that movie? And they're going to see me just like trying to go crazy in my seat or going around the theater trying to mosh. Yeah, I might get kicked out of the theater for that one, but worth it. Totally worth it.
Worth it. Totally worth it. And, I don't know how they say it in the Americas, but it's like showing your colors, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, I was there, I know what this song is about, kind of situation. But yeah, and that would be another cool story to write a song about, getting kicked out of a movie theater because the song on the movie was just too fucking good.
You know what? All I have to do is I have to bring a couple of friends in there and we'll just start it up. It's the people I go see concerts with all the time. We say, no, I have to know the song is going to be in there. And when it comes out, we're just going to get up out of our seats and we're going to start trying to kick the ever-loving hell out of each other. Everyone's going to wonder what the hell's going on. And at the end of it, security's going to come in, workers are going to come in. They're going to be like, okay, break up. We're like, whoa. We're good. We're metal fans. This is what we do.
Definitely. Showing everyone how it's done.
Yeah,
even in movie theaters.
Show everyone how it was done in the movie theaters. Then they can make a movie about it too. And then we can put more of One Morning Left in the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Sounds perfect. We get a solid business plan here.
Solid business plan. We just need to find a movie studio to pick up on it. So Disney, Warner Brothers, anybody else that's out there that wants to pick up on this, let's make it happen. Let's
make it happen. Yeah.
Well, Leevi, I got one more question I really want to ask you before we wrap this up. It's something I enjoy asking every artist I bring on that podcast, to not only get everyone else to know more new music, but for you to support the music that you love. So I'm going to ask you for 3. Can you name me 3 bands or artists that you love that you would love to see more people get into right now?
Wow.
That's not the first time I've gotten that reaction either. So you're in the norm with that. Like,
there's a lot, and I'm thinking we were just doing a North European tour: Sweden, Norway, Denmark. There were Aviana is one, Athena, and Cabal. I think I hope people fight them too, because they're good people. They make authentic music, and they're not like One Morning Left at all.
Yeah.
But the energy is there.
I've heard of Aviana. I've actually had Athena on the podcast back in like 2020, so I'm well aware of who they are. Which is like, when you said that, I had a little moment of like, oh, I know that one. This is awesome. But more of a chance for so many of us to get into great new music and great music that you love as well. So thank you, Leevi, for giving us those suggestions. And also thank you for taking the time today to be on the podcast. I absolutely appreciate it. This was an absolute blast. But I got to end this episode with 3 specific things. First things first, when it comes to One Morning Left, when it comes to Neon Inferno, because the likelihood that you'll be watching this episode when the album is out is very high. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the description of the podcast below where it says Find One Morning Left online. There'll be links, labels for everything, for all their social media accounts, so you can follow with them, you can follow and know what's going on, and you can find out about anytime anything new gets released. There's also be their YouTube channel where you can find their YouTube videos so you can watch them and see all the craziness that happens. There's also where you can find them online to get merch, find concert tickets, and of course, stream their music, find their music, download their music, buy their music, and get into it in full. Everything is down there. Everything is labeled. You can call me Google on this one. You do not have to do any searching. I've got you all covered. Just go down there, click, and you're good to go. But now it's time for number 2, Leevi. Whenever I have guests on the podcast and enjoy the podcast, I tend to make a certain promise as a way to say thank you. I appreciate you taking the time, and I would love to continue to support the band in the future. And here's how I do it. I don't say if. If implies it might not happen. So I say when, and it's when I get to see you perform live for the first time. We just don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So when that happens, I will come and find you, probably after I'm all sweaty, done playing the recorder to Your Dead Lads Disco and enjoying Tokyo Love like crazy. And probably moshing to Beat It too. I'll come by, I'll come say hi, but that's not the promise. The promise is first round's on me.
All right. Awesome.
So I like to make good on my promises, so make sure you hold me to it. And now it's time for number 3, Leevi. When I have guests in the podcast, I enjoy the podcast, I cannot, of course, say goodbye as well, because goodbye is way too final. I made you a promise. I have to make sure I make good on that promise. Beyond that as well, dude, this was so much fun, and I cannot wait to have you on this podcast again and talk to you one more time, 2 more times, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or we do our, what we said earlier. Let's just do this every Wednesday and see what the hell happens. So this is not goodbye, my friend. This is I'll see you later.
Yeah, see ya.
Well, folks, my interview with Leevi from the band One Morning Left, and now it's time for Kevin's final thoughts. So I'm going to go with 2 parts of this. First part is, when you think about all the different influence that they have, especially from the 80s style. I mean, you saw Leevi wearing a Def Leppard shirt. I mean, his influence specifically when it comes to 80s rock, 80s hair metal, it is all over this record, and it absolutely makes sense. Beyond that, too, it does evoke this consistent positivity, this consistent happier flow to it, because we talked about what 80s music does to people. If you go to a wedding anywhere and you listen to 80s music there, people that are older get into it, people that are younger can get into it. Everyone is down for it. It's like the perfect type of music to really listen to. So people are down with it and they really flow with it. So it makes sense to put it in there, along with mixing it with metal, which is his, of course, core backing, putting a lot of electronica in there as well. It creates this potential hodgepodge of success that the band absolutely maxes out on, and it's here. You listen to it on Neon Inferno. It is all over the place. The second part I want to go into is how it all came together. And I think, again, there's a lot of great songs on this record. I think Tonight is a good song. I like the song 3, 2, 1, Go. Summer Lovin' reminds me of Prince. The Beat It cover of Michael Jackson is absolutely incredible, but nothing comes close to Tokyo Love. My God, everything fits so well in there. And the story that Leevi told is the story of absolute legends. Like, this is the stuff that bands remember, the stuff that absolutely creates that positive moment and constantly gets people to drive further and further into the positivity that is their lives. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely love what we saw here. I want to thank Leevi for being on the podcast. When it comes to One Morning Left and being able to check out Neon Inferno and everything they put out, description below has everything for links, social media, YouTube, where you can stream it, listen to it, get some merch, and get your concert tickets. And when they come over to North America, when that happens, you got to go see them live. I'm going to do it. I have to do it. So also, I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Chord Progression Podcast. Chord Progression Podcast, my God. Subscribe button on YouTube is right down here. You can hit the follow button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Hit the like button on these episodes as well to help push us in the algorithm, of course. That always helps. Beyond that, too, go to the description where we're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's all there. Thank you, Leevi. I almost said Levi. Thank you, Leevi. Thank you, everybody. Go check out One Morning Left. On that note, that's Computer Media, everybody. Thank you for watching, listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin. And you guys know I'm every single one of the big, healthy, and hearty. See ya!